Last season, we had a similar situation where we were just one best of 5 away, and we couldn't make it in the end.
We've worked our asses off to get to the last game today, and they're the final big bad boss.
It has been very rough getting here, but we're not going home with nothing.
They're red hot coming off 2 reverse sweeps, so I'm sure they're super confident and they feel really good right now, so I think it's going to be a really tough series.
The last time I played against Cloud9 in the best out of 5, we got reverse swept, and that was embarrassing.
But definitely won't happen. They're going to have 3 reverse sweeps in a row.
I'm not going to say it's going to be easier. I'm not going to say it's going to be harder. I think it's probably going to be 5 games again.
I don't want to jinx myself. We'll just go for the 3-0.
We still have some tricks up our sleeves.
And Cloud9's Cinderella run.
I'm not really afraid of like shutting down one person specifically. I'm just gonna look to kick all their asses.
I guess the better team will go to Worlds.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the North American Regional Qualifier. Today we will see who is heading to Worlds for a chance to hoist the Summoners Cup. Cloud9 and Team Liquid fans alike ready to head into the crowd and cheer on their favorite teams. Hello everyone, I am Rivington Bizen III. For this high-stakes match, we've got a fully stacked analyst desk. Joining me are Aiden Zyrene Moon and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. Gentlemen, it is going to be a crazy day, possibly another reverse sweep if the moon's aligned once again.
Everybody's prepared for 5 games, let's say that.
Yeah, I think it'll go 5 if Cloud9 don't mess up picking bans. I feel like they stand a pretty good chance, and this Team Liquid has a lot of teamwork, but you know what? I want that reverse sweep again. I want it to just be, you can't even script it. This is too good. This is too good.
All right. A quick programming note. Our games will begin at the regularly scheduled noon Pacific start time. And now to start us off, we can add one more team that owns and has made their way to World. Just a short time ago, Origin took down the Unicorns of Love in the European LCS qualifier to grab the 3rd seed. And a quick 3-0. Haven't seen too many of those around the parts of any region, really.
Especially in North America. We're going to be talking about reverse sweeps all day. We're going to be talking about gameplay.
Yeah, as they were saying, Origin definitely deserves their spot, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, I thought they were going to get in a 2nd seed, but then all of a sudden, boop, because they didn't have points from the spring.
Well, Peke gets to go once again. We'll see what kind of damage he can do at Worlds with the new team. Now let's pull up the North American qualifier bracket to track Cloud9's miracle run. It started with a reverse sweep against Gravity. They moved on to face the 4th place team Impulse and pulled out another incredible reverse sweep. Now 2 days and 10 games later, and the only thing left in their way is the final boss, Team Liquid. With another win, Cloud9 claimed their 3rd straight trip to Worlds, where they will no doubt reverse sweep their way to the Summoners Cup in total domination, as everybody would expect. And for Team Liquid, this would be their first trip to Worlds, which would absolutely mean a lot to the organization. They fought very, very hard. Now, there's no doubt that Cloud9's run has taken on a life of its own, gentlemen, and you can see that just by looking over at social media. It was flying with fans, fellow pros, and everyone showing support. To give you a little taste, we're going to share our favorites. Boy put it into context. Cloud9 was 1 game away from relegation. Now they're 1 match away from Worlds. That's incredible. I tweeted out shortly after the victory, oh my God, please no more. GG to Team Impulse. I think we all kind of felt like that. Team Liquid's Phoenix echoed that sentiment saying, mercy. And the rest of Team Liquid chimed in with this tweet saying, we're ready for your trap card, Cloud9. Let's have some fun tomorrow. So definitely a little bit of love there between both of the teams. And you can see the trap card could be played in full effect if Liquid is not ready.
No, that card's not tournament legal. That's tournament banned right there. That's not allowed.
Well, they've snuck it in twice so far.
I know. Cheaters.
Yeah, as much as everyone's joking about, oh yeah, Cloud9 should just let them have the first couple games. No, don't do that. It's a joke. People start to confuse memes with real strategy in real life. Calm down. That's not actually what they want to do.
You mean we're not losing games to give fans false hope? Like what? What?
What can they have though? Like what cards do they have? You've already played 10 games. You've almost shown everything. Sneaky said they have, or I'm sorry, Incarnation in that video we saw said, we have tricks up our sleeves still. You got how many?
I mean, One thing that is real is the morale boost that comes from winning these back-to-back games, where back-to-back series where they're expected to lose. The reason why everyone's getting so hyped about this is because Cloud9 are expected to lose this. They're still the underdogs coming in versus Team Liquid, but they've been able to pull off these miraculous reverse sweeps over and over again. So they have got a ton of fan support behind them, and they have a lot of momentum going.
Yeah, and I was reading the Twitter sphere right before this, and Fion was talking about how C9, they've won 8 elimination matches against TSM, Team 8, and then, of course, Gravity and TIP.
Yeah.
If they had lost any one of those 8 games, they would not be here.
Jat was tweeting about that yesterday as well. They've had, like Voyboy was talking about, they've been one game away from getting kicked out over and over and over and over, but they always seem to pull it out.
Yeah, and another thing to put in perspective as well is the season is 18 games. They've played 10 games. They played more than half the season worth of games in 2 days. And this was a squad that was needing more games, more repetitions, more incarnation strategies, more high strategies, more things to flex and show. So I feel like throwing more cards out on the table and seeing if it works is actually beneficial for Cloud9 in the long run.
They got more practice time.
Yep.
Incarnation's honed his skills in North America.
Yeah.
Well, talking a bit about Cloud9, just a short time ago, Jack got an insider's perspective on Team Liquid's side of the showdown from their coach, Peter.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by Peter, the coach of Team Liquid. Last week, you guys finished 3rd place at Madison Square Garden. Just quickly, what was that experience like?
Well, it's a very amazing can win at the Madison Square Gardens. Even it's a sort of first matchup, but very exciting and happy we can win there.
And when you won, you thought maybe you'd have clinched at Worlds. I saw you before the TSM game trying to cheer them on, make sure they won. But then CLG won, meaning you guys didn't auto-qualify for Worlds and you had to play this weekend. How disappointing was that for the team?
Well, we're not that very disappointing because we think if we don't win a Gauntlet, we just probably not deserve for the Worlds.
All right, and now you know you're playing up against Cloud9, who's done back-to-back reverse sweeps. They also had a reverse sweep against you guys in the spring. How do you combat kind of their willpower and their grit in the series?
I mean, we're not that nervous because we just play on the Madison Square Garden. We have a confidence we can beat them today. I think the reverse sweep from the other side means you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, and final question here for you, Peter. If you guys do win today, what does that mean for you? And if you lose, how crushing would that defeat be?
I mean, if we win today, well, we're not going to Worlds. That would be very happy to Steve. Also, we never been to Worlds, Kurt's never been to Worlds before. But this time, we can actually go to Worlds. That would be very good for us. And if we lost, we probably just try to practice hard and looking for the next play.
All right, well, good attitude, Peter. Good luck today. Let's send it back to the guys at the desk.
Great interview, Jat, and you can see always confidence coming out of Peter. Even when the players are down, no, you're playing well, don't think you're playing bad. He always just exudes that to the team.
Hey, he's also been to Worlds, right? As a coach before, he's been in these situations, and the team, if he can just keep their spirits up. And that was something that Team Liquid suffered with before, because they've been reverse swept by Cloud9
It's a very
previously.
emotional team. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely going to be something that's on their minds, whether they win the first 2 games or
the whole series.
Exactly. How far this series goes is going to be depend upon them.
And I believe there's also a lot of strength in what he said about the win at Madison Square Garden, because we hear how much it meant to Quas, how much it meant to dominate, for them to be that really their first big arena to play in, and then to come away with that victory. I feel like that's their kind of hold and power versus Cloud9's reverse sweep kind of looming in the background, right? They definitely have a lot of confidence coming from Team Liquid in this.
Yeah, and the last time that these guys actually played BO5s, it was both of them played against TIP, and both of them were able to exploit TIP, and TIP threw it Baron against both of these teams. So both these teams are kind of on the same page in how they got to this point.
Yeah, it's more than just momentum and, reverse sweeps and all that, though. Team Liquid have some very real advantages in this matchup. They have really strong early game, and they have really strong lanes. So Cloud9 are going to have to dig deep and pull out some more of those shenanigans. Some mid-game shot calling is going to have to go their way to try and pull this one out.
And one thing I'm actually very interested in looking at, you talk about all these advantages that they have. Incarnation, the guy on C9 that hasn't been to Worlds before, he's the new guy on the roster for the year. And Incarnation, everybody else on the squad, this is all about redemption for Cloud9, for getting back to Worlds. For Incarnation, this is about proving himself, proving that putting him in was not a mistake, and that he's not the reason that Cloud9 fell down to the bottom. It was other things. And now, he wasn't an answer to Bjergsen when he came in. Is he an answer to at least Phoenix to get them into Worlds and keep propelling themselves forward on Cloud9's squad? So today is a lot about proof for Incarnation.
Yeah, he's looked great ever since High's come in, started helping him. It's good to have a mid laner be your jungler to enhance that synergy. And the Gauntlet we've really seen his best performances all year in the
Player
Gauntlet.
of the series
so,
for
yeah,
both.
He's peaking at the right time for Cloud9.
Well, as we talk and continue to prepare right now, we're going to head over to the caster desk for an unannounced and surprise inspection.
I don't know if I was ready. Wait, what, unannounced? Okay, I guess we're supposed to plan the show out in advance. I guess we're here, though. What's up, everyone? I'm David Freak Turley, along with my emergency contact, Joshua Jat Leesman. We're here to cast the 3 to 5 games here today.
Did you really put me as your emergency contact?
I mean, you were closest by.
Yeah, I got it.
If I were to fall off the stage, you would know.
I'm a bad emergency contact. I'm going to leave the country for 6 weeks in about a month. I frequently have my phone on mute when I'm doing things, and I cannot be interrupted. And I'm not really responsive to email either. So
I mean, thankfully, I'm going to the same countries as you, so at least you'll still be around to be told. Sorry, Jat, but your dismissal has been dismissed.
My joke flopped. I thought it was.
So did mine, though. Really, no one's laughing behind me, so I did a bad job today. I got some groans and some ahs. Either way, we have a really fun series today, Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. Liquid got to watch 10 games of C9, so that whole dark period's gone, and you feel like both teams should be prepped for this.
It was really strange. I mean, watching any of these Cloud9 series only because they looked pretty useless in the first 2 games, and then specifically the Tip series. It's true.
It's true, yeah.
Specifically the Tip series.
I got you.
Even their games 3 and 4 looked shakier than their ones against Gravity.
Yes,
right?
I completely agree.
Game 4 specifically, Cloud9 was down something like 8,000 gold. Game 3, I don't remember the exact specifics, but it was also looking a little bit rough. Whereas now Team Liquid, we have to remember that these guys are the team that are coming in on a bit of a hot streak. They won at Madison Square Garden, and it's not like they fell down into this place. They're only here because CLG was able to beat TSM in the finals.
Right. I mean, this is the first place regular split team. They lost a best of 5 to TSM, then beat Impulse 3-1, which is better than C9 did. Like, these are very, very strong players and a good team. When I do see Liquid get pulled apart, it seems to be more in the team play, though. This is a multilingual team. Phoenix and Piglet are not the strongest English speakers, which does, of course, matter for these guys. And while their landing phase is amazing, their individual skill is arguably the highest in the league. People would say there's other teams up there, but they're one of those guys in the runnings. Their team fighting and late game shot calling often hurts them.
Yeah, one of the things that Team Liquid always has to balance whenever you talk about how they have so many good players, yes, they do have strong players in pretty much every position, but there's only so much farm and resources and priority that you can give to a team in League of Legends, so it's a constant balancing act, whether you need Quas to fall back and farm, whether you want to put Piglet on a supportive carry, whether you want Phoenix on some type of supportive mid, because not everyone can farm and carry at the same time.
Right.
It's always an interesting balance about Team Liquid. It makes them very versatile, but it also makes them somewhat inconsistent because they're not sticking to one consistent strategy.
That's true. When we saw a really successful team like CLG very recently, it was, okay, Smithy's going to play a tank jungler every time. Yeah. Balter will play like a mid that scales, right? He played a lot of Victor, but he's not getting a lot of the attention. It's going to Double, it's going to Zion Spartan. Those are the big battering rams, and that was a style that did work. So you're right. I do want to see what Team Liquid goes for. Is it Quas? Is it Phoenix? Is it Dom? Is it Piglet?
For the most part, Team Liquid has fallen into some patterns. Usually it's the mid lane and bot lane priority, and Quas, especially later in the game, if you look at the percentage of minions and percentage of jungle monsters that he takes post 15 minutes, it's near the bottom of the league. So Quas has been stepping back frequently. It depends if that reflects in champion select, because sometimes that wavers.
Yeah, we've seen him play Sion a couple of times to pretty good effect, so we'll see if he goes for more of those big tanks. We don't need quite as much gold as like a top Fizz, for example. Now, either way, guys, you'll be seeing a bit more from us a little bit later on the show, but when the games start, we're going to send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. And there is one song that always creeps up in the postseason and has become synonymous with Game 5 hype. So we caught up with the man behind the league phenomenon, Silver Scrapes.
All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of the lead line here. Forgive me if I'm a little rusty. It's been about 3 years since I've opened up this project. My name is Danny McCarthy. League of Legends fans may know me as the composer for Silver Scrapes. I started composing music when I was 15 years old. I continue to do it every day and learn new things every day. I don't know, I'd say it took about maybe 10 years before I got any gig whatsoever. Killer Tracks, they hired me to write a song, and you know, it was my first gig. I was, I think, 22, 23 years old or so. That Friday, they gave me the gig. They said, hey, it's due on Monday. And so it was a crazy weekend, not much sleep. It was a success, so they went ahead and hired me for another song. Actually, Silver Scrapes itself was made in probably 4 days. I did have a deadline, a very strict deadline, but I didn't have any money, and I actually wrote Silver Scrapes on a 10-year-old laptop. I don't know if you want me to pull it up. The screen's cracked. The keyboard, there's some buttons that work, but most of them don't. USB ports over here will shock you if you plug in there. And this is what I created Silver Scrapes on. When I do production music, it's different than putting it out as an artist, because I write the music and then I put it out, and it can be anywhere. It can be on television, commercials, ads, all over the place. But nobody knows my name. Nobody knows anything about who made the song or anything about it. And once I finish it, I don't know where it's going. In 2012, I believe Riot had some technical errors during Worlds, and Silver Scrapes ended up playing like on an hours-long loop, and so it just kind of got ingrained into people's heads, which, you know, it was lucky for me. I had some friends that are League of Legends players, and they watched it and said, oh my God, dude, your song was just on League of Legends for like 2 hours. And then I went and looked on YouTube, and I had Silver Scrapes was up there for, you know, it had like 500,000 views, and I was like, what? This is crazy. I had no idea what, at that time, League of Legends was. So that's how I learned. Ever since that point, I've been able to sustain myself without a 9-to-5 job. And I'm doing what I love. Part of that reason is because of League of Legends and because of the fans of League of Legends, and for that, I'm eternally grateful for that. I think being a musician, I consider it to be similar to being a serious League of Legends player. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice. I've started playing League of Legends now, and you know, I'm not good at all, and I'm not going to give out my summoner name because it's bad. I'm sticking with the bots for a long time. It's not about the things. It's not about the big boards and you need all this stuff. You don't. You just need a passion and a drive and love for what you're doing.
Every time I hear it, I want to go for that 10-hour smooth loop.
400,000 people had watched that when that photo was taken. How many of them actually watched it for 10 hours?
Do you actually remember waiting while it was going and going and going? I remember watching.
Where were you when Silver Scrapes became famous?
About 10 feet from everybody on the desk. D-Man and Jat talking about it on the desk.
Up there forever.
I was at home being like, why is it not started yet?
Well, with a production note as well, we will be starting the games on time, noon Pacific today, so those will start as scheduled, so the players have enough time to get ready. But I do have to ask, gentlemen, do you think we're going to get some Silver Scrapes today?
I would be disappointed if we didn't.
Yeah, everybody wants the reverse sweep right now, or at least 5 games. So
everybody's predicting 5 games too, just because.
Just because. Yeah, let's get some Silver Scrapes.
I want some 5 games. It's going to be good. We'll find out shortly. And now switching gears for just a minute, I've seen all the other casters get a shot at answering your questions since Dash is away, and I'm captain of the analyst desk. It's going to be my turn. Send your questions by tweeting at LOL Esports and with the address Ask Riv, and I'll dispense some sage advice and wicked knowledge after today's series. Are you guys ready for that?
No.
No.
I'm so ready.
Absolutely not. The teams are loading up on stage, and we'll be launching into Game 1 between Team Liquid and Cloud9 in just 3.5. Stay with us.